Well, hello, everyone. Hope everyone is having a great night tonight. Welcome to Devil's Advocates. Welcome to the den. Can you guys wave at me behind there if you can hear me? All right, yay. Oh, wow. Right off the bat, we have a new member. Awesome. So, Row, is that I4G? Welcome, welcome. That's wonderful. Thank you very much. We appreciate that support, of course. So I hope you guys have been having an amazing Sunday. We have a great show lined up here for you tonight. We're going to be talking some LISK, some Idaho 4. We've got almost a full panel. The boss, as always, is off on Sundays. But the rest of us are here. We have the amazing 1-1 backstage. We have JJ from State of the Deep. And I want to say something about 1-1. He's amazing. Yes, he does, he's our law enforcement expert, but he does a lot of other like production stuff, research, all kinds of great stuff. So he is a master of many things. And like I said, we have JJ from State of the Deep backstage, and we also have the one and only Dago from over at the True Crime Cafe backstage. So I'm just going to say some quick hellos here. I see lots and lots of awesome people out here that I recognize. We have Satire, we have our mods, we have Pennywise, we have Amanda B, we have Essie May. She is in the house as well, our awesome mods. We have Baby Ames, Miss Lisa B, Circus Music. Always great to see. We have Redacted doing Redacted. There's a name I recognize. We have Christine Hurd, of course, recognize her. Michelle Rowe, Tomboy Charm. We have some Blue Crew from over at Dago's channel in the house, looks like here. We got Cat K. We have Foxy Rose. Always good to see you. Suzanne Sharp. I'm going back up through here, people. I'm trying not to leave anyone out, but looks like everyone's coming in the room fast and hot here and love it, love it. So Leslie and Billy, Queen of Denial, great to see you. We have Heidi MN, Karen Stevens. So lots and lots of our regulars. If you're new here to the den, welcome on in. We cover several different cases here. Of course, Idaho 4, which is, of course, one of the big ones. Just getting kind of into the Delphi case, and as well as we cover Mickey Steins, Luigi Mangione, and also the Long Island serial killer case. So lots and lots of good content coming your way. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. We have tons and tons of content for you to catch up on and also to keep up to date on so that you get your notifications. Make sure you turn on the little bell and also make sure to like this video, please. So we want this to go out into YouTube land so that everyone can see the content that we have for you. And all right, so without further ado, I'm going to start bringing people up here. So I'm going to add to the stage the one and only 1-1. 1-1, how are you tonight?
Good evening, Dan. Hi, Robin. How is everything on this
All
fabulous
right, all
night?
right.
Good things coming.
Yeah,
We got
that's
lots to
for
talk
sure.
about.
That's for sure. Are you
So,
gonna
ready?
do your famous intro?
Sure. Can't begin the stream without it.
That's right.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages. Before we begin, understand this. Comfort is not offered here. This is Devil's Advocates, where certainty rots, where narratives bleed, where truth is never clean, only examined. You've heard the story they wanted you to hear. You've been given the version that fits neatly, the one that ends the conversation, the one that asks you not to look any further. We exist for one reason: to look away. Every case has a shadow version, a timeline that doesn't line up, a statement that shifts, a silence that speaks louder than testimony. Those shadows don't disappear when you ignore them, they wait. On this show, we don't ask who you want to believe, we ask who benefits when you stop asking questions. We will dissect reports, reconstruct timelines, rewind statements frame by frame, not to shock you, not to provoke you, but because the truth doesn't survive without pressure. And pressure is what we apply. No one is above examination, not badges, not titles, no sworn oaths, not official narratives wrapped in authority and sealed with finality. If the story is solid, it will survive. If it isn't, it deserves to collapse. Understand something else before you continue. This is not entertainment. This is analysis without anesthesia. There will be discomfort. There will be anger. There will be moments where the silence feels louder than the words. Good. That's where honesty lives. If you're here for closure, turn back now. If you're here for certainty, you won't find it. But if you're here to challenge the version of events you were handed, to question the gaps, the timing, the motives, the things that don't sit right in the dark, then stay. Because once you hear these questions, you can't unhear them. This is Devil's Advocates. No heroes, no villains, only evidence, and the questions they hoped you'd never ask. Let's begin. And with that, live from New York, it's Sunday night.
Thank you, thank you. I always love those intros, and I do want to give a special shout out, birthday shout out to Daenerys Targaryen. It is their birthday today, so happy birthday to you, and so please wish them a very happy birthday. So always love celebrating people's birthdays with them. So, and I'm going to go ahead and we're going to bring up the one and only Dago. Oh, there he is. Okay, there. I've got to bring up the right one. There you are. Hello, sir.
Howdy, hey, hey, forget about it. How is everybody tonight?
Hello.
We're good.
Hello.
How's the sauce boss?
Saucy as ever. Saucy as ever.
That's a good thing.
Yeah,
That's a good
yeah.
thing.
Absolutely.
And now let me bring up JJ from State of the Deep here. Boom. Hello, sir.
What's up, everybody? Hi, Robin. 1-1. Well done. Dago, good to see you again, my brother. Hello to the den. I hope everybody's doing great.
You as well, my friend. You as well.
Yeah. So, and I think Dago has a special something or other that he's going to lay on us here.
We do. We have an extra special intro. Our amazing and awesome videographer over at the cafe put together tonight just for these awesome people here. That Molly Drake is her name. For those of you, I'll go ahead and put her link here afterwards. But you guys got to see this. It's pretty awesome. Go ahead,
amazing.
Pull it up, Robin, and we can go from
there. Okay. Can you pull it up, or do you need me to?
You'll have to pull it up because you're the lead. There we go.
Okay. All righty. There we go.
I can run it everything from here. You just have to.
Oh, that's great.
Gotcha.
So you guys will.
Isn't that awesome?
You'll recognize everybody, and she put together. She calls us the Infernal Case League, and
It's great.
there's a song and everything, guys. So prepare yourselves. This is pretty awesome. job. I love it. I love it. Love it. Love it. So
Nice.
Here we go. Hang on to your seats, guys.
No gavel, no crown, just paper and flame. We sift through the carnage, we catalog names. The lost and the broken, ash on our fingers, ink in our veins. Every room tells a story through fracture and stain. Static in the shadows, footsteps at 3. Truth on the floor, like a faulty machine. We don't waste souls, we measure the scene. Every thread a citation, every mark pristine. No halo, no sin, no mercy unseen. We don't waste souls, we measure the scene. The infernal case leak, keepers of proof. The silent confession, no verdict but truth. No alibi loose, when the story fractures we splice the tape. Frame by frame, only facts remain. Top lines whisper, locks disagree. What was broken speaks. If you listen to the debris, we don't waste souls, we measure the scene. Every thread of citation, every mark pristine. No halo, no sin, no mercy unseen. We don't waste souls, we measure the scene. We speak in evidence, we kneel in the fire. Silent witnesses tracked mile by mile. Time tries to bury it, fire tries to erase, but truth leaves fingerprints no myth can replace. We don't waste souls, we measure the scene. Every thread a citation, every mark pristine. Let the liars tremble, let the ghosts convene. We don't waste souls, we measure the scene. We measure the scene, we measure the scene. No crown, just paper and flame. Truth lives in the lines, the infernal case leads.
So we are now exposed.
Wow.
Yes, you guys all now know what we do at nighttime when we're not here. So we're all
That's
great.
amazing.
Molly did an amazing job, as she always does. She does all of my intro, outros, things. She's always done them. She does just amazing things, you guys. Absolutely amazing things.
Obviously.
And I love her to death. She's like she's family to us 100%. And she does many more things. Her link is posted in my chat on my side. Robin, you have the link if you want to put it in there too as well. But guys, go check out her channel.
Let me grab it.
Yeah, Molly Drake is her channel name. she does awesome things. I loved. I woke up this morning. I was like, "What the hell is this?" You know, and I was like, "Good God Almighty, it's amazing." So,
Well
me
done.
that.
Well done, Molly.
Yeah.
yeah, I
Thank
love.
you for making me look so good, Molly.
Ditto.
She made us all look good. I'll say that much. That's for sure.
I know, right? Oh my gosh.
In one,
That's amazing.
she couldn't have made one.
Thank you.
Look
Thank you. That's
yeah, she
love
couldn't
it.
have made
Love
one
it.
look any more like one, and than
Yeah,
it
it was
did.
awesome. That was
Right?
great.
Right on point.
Yep. Love it. All right. Well, thank you for letting us play that and everything, Dago. That's really
No, thank you for
that's
allowing
just
me to play
amazing.
it. I loved it.
Yeah.
I said, and I showed Lee, and I said, he was like, "You're gonna have to let us show this, of course." And I said, "Yeah, absolutely, absolutely."
Yeah. That's great.
Welcome everybody on
All
my side of
right.
things. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, guys. Please make sure you're hitting the like button at the Devil's Advocates as well as here at the cafe, if you will, please and thank you. I appreciate that so very much, and thank you so much for joining us tonight on this Sunday night. Unfortunately, Lee is off on Sunday, but we're lucky enough to have Joe here with us tonight, and I'm super excited for that as well.
Happy to be here.
Yeah. Yes.
Yep. Let me, you know what, and Joe does have and I still want to call it Twitter, an X account. So let me stick that in the chat. He does not have his YouTube channel. It's there. He just he has not put his debut video out quite yet, but he's been working hard on that. I know the past week or so here, but there is the link to his X account if you guys want to check him out over there. And he's also on Substack, so puts out amazing articles. So you're going to want to keep your eye on him, that's for sure.
Can you put that in the private chat, Robin, so I can throw that on my side too real quick, please?
I sure will.
Yes, guys, please go check out State of the Deep, if you will. Once Joe gets
There
rolling
you
on
go.
things, I'd love everybody to be able to go over there and subscribe as well to that.
I'm gonna put up a preview video that I already did. Actually, it's just kind of like introducing, like, coming soon, sort of a AI montage video about that kind of just touches on the type of things that the channel will discuss, and it's really going to be more of I'm going to try to foster a community for people to discuss things like we do here.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be just spewing research and things about different topics. It's going to be a place for discussion and things like that.
Good idea. Great idea. I'll
Excellent. Yo yeah. I've been poor Joe. I've been on his case for
Yeah. And let me tell you guys, JJ has some. I'm not gonna spoil anything. He's got some big video, some big topics to discuss. I've been waiting. I've been waiting. You know, he doesn't want to just throw it out. He wants to have everything, you know,
I can imagine
nicely. But
he's got companion. There's a companion article that's going to be released on Substack in conjunction with my first actual episode, and it's a little bit longer. So the first episode's really going to be more of like an overview about things. So it's going to be a little bit longer just because it's going to address the type of things that I'll be discussing.
Nice.
Oh, that's going to be great. That's going to be great. So excellent. All right. Well, what we're going to talk about tonight can tie into several of Lee's cases, the cases we cover here. Right now, we have 5, of course, Idaho 4, Luigi Mangione, the Long Island serial killer case, or LISK, as well as the Mickey Steins or the Judge Mullins case from Kentucky, and also the Delphi case. We're still going to be covering Charlie Kirk. kind of like as things kind of maybe happen in that case, but for right now, it's not going to be a primary focus of the channel. So just so everyone is aware, Lee recently, I believe this week, kind of made that decision. So that's kind of where things stand with that.
That's
And
how,
that-
that's how I'm
So-
covering it too, just as things roll out on it.
There's been some pretty interesting theories that have come out in that case fairly recently.
Okay.
But there's a channel, there's a few channels. There's Baron Coleman is one of them. He's an attorney. He's been covering the Charlie Kirk case pretty extensively. And then there's Valhalla VFT. He's a former Green Beret. He's been covering it extensively as well. And there's in the last few weeks, one might be already aware of all this stuff. They've presented a few alternative theories that are actually very interesting, and they've had commentary from other people that are experts in certain areas address it. And I'm not patting myself on the back, but I did release a very short video of me, a clip talking about a theory that I had. This is a while ago, and I did post it to my Substack. And so they're kind of touching on some things that sort of nod to one of the thoughts that I've had about that case for a while. But anyway, if you're into that case, I highly recommend these three people: Ian Carroll, Baron Coleman, and Nate from Valhalla VFT.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we can, that stuff that, going forward, we could dip into, but I just wanted to put that out
yeah.
there.
That's who
Absolutely. And you know that Lee will, so that's
I definitely follow Valhalla VFT when I cover things on the case for sure. He's got a lot of on point information that he puts out in that case, guys. So please, Joe's absolutely right with those three channels. If you're looking for it, that's where it's at, in my opinion.
all right, great. Let me grab his X account. There we go. All right. Okay, so now tonight what we're going to discuss is kind of talking about tunnel vision related to prosecutions and investigations. This is something that Lee and we have all discussed quite a bit, with several of our cases here, and here at the Devil's Advocates and other channels as well, of course, is especially the presumption of innocence until proven guilty. And right now, it seems in our country is kind of things are flipped around a little bit there, and which is not how the system was originally set up. And the presumption of innocence until proven guilty isn't meant to protect criminals. It's meant to protect the truth.
Yeah.
Okay. So now I have to, hopefully, I'm going to share my screen. And I have to get the right one. Okay, and everybody let me know if you can see this. Can everybody see it?
No, not yet.
Oh, what'd I do? Oh, I have to add it to the stage.
Yeah,
That
I
would
was gonna
help.
say
That would
I
help.
saw it. I saw it backstage, but yeah.
That always
Oh my
helps.
gosh, that's funny. That's funny. Yeah. There we go. All right. So yes, tunnel vision, prosecutors, and the cost of certainty. So let me go to my next slide. So when investigations lock in too early, it's never a good thing, as you know, everyone can imagine. You know, evidence gets ignored. You know, in several of our cases, especially if we're going to talk for a minute, Idaho 4. You know, Ann Taylor wanted to present evidence about potential alternate suspects. And of course, she was not allowed to do that. She had Frank's hearings that were denied and so forth. So, and as we're all discovering with the documents that are coming out, there's a lot of evidence that is potentially or has been potentially ignored because they're, you know, they focused, you know, pretty early on Brian Koberger, as we all know. Now, with the Rex Human case or Long Island serial killer Lisk, kind of the same thing happened. I'll give you a brief rundown for those who don't know the case. I'll be brief about it though. Back in 2010, police were searching for a missing sex worker named Shannon Gilbert. Now, I'll stop right there real quick. This is parental discretion is advised. This is an adult show. We talk about adult subjects. We use adult words. So just so everyone knows, this is not a kid-friendly show. So if you're watching this, you may not want to watch the show with little kids around. So just putting that out there. So yeah, so back in 2010, the police were searching for Shannon Gilbert, who was a sex worker at the time. While searching for her, they discovered 4 bodies along Ocean Parkway, belonging to Maureen Brainerd Barnes, Melissa Bartholomew, Megan Waterman, and Amber Costello. All 4 had been online escorts and believed to be killed by the same offender. More remains were found as the search widened. Jessica Taylor, Valerie Mack, Asian John Doe, Peaches, and Baby Doe. At current count, around 10 to 11 victims. Shannon's body was later found in 2011. Then we're going to fast forward now, you know, to 2023. Rex Human is arrested and charged with killing the Gilgo 4. Some of their evidence includes burner phones, DNA, and hair transfer. He is, of course, denying all charges. So, just go on to art. So now, this is a very high-profile case, as are the cases that we're studying. So we're going to have a mini poll after kind of each section. So our first mini poll, I want to kind of test the waters here. And if you've been tuning in the past few Sundays, you kind of know how this is working. We have a question after each section, and for the audience, the chat to answer. And so our first question, like I said, just to kind of test the water, do you think tunnel vision is more common in high-profile cases? Yes, no, or depends on investigators. And we'll go around the panel as well as the chat. And so one, go ahead and start us off. What do you think about that?
Well, I can tell you, I mean, I have a personal experience with this, not per se myself, but people that I know. I you know, again, I'm not a detective. I don't work on homicides or cases. But with that in mind, as an overall, how do I explain it? So crimes that occur within the precinct, per se, let's say like robberies, could be anything, it could be sexual assaults, robberies, things of that magnitude, burglaries. So a detective obviously will get assigned to the case. However, sometimes, actually many times, we may not know, at first who the perpetrator is or whatnot. We just may know that it may be from our precinct to another precinct. There could be crimes occurring around the same time. Same kind of same kind of mo is being done with the crime. So absolutely, exactly. That was a key point. That last sentence, that last comment you had on there. There's always
Mhm.
humongous amount of pressure to get this stuff solved. Um, when you start getting involved with anything that has to do with like religious stuff, anything with kids,
Mhm.
elderly, certain sexual crimes, it's big talking points for the news. The
Yeah.
news, they're all over it. So these people who are,
Okay.
they're higher up in the department and whatnot. They want this
Sure.
stuff. They want this stuff solved like ASAP, and this goes along exactly with what Robin is talking about here with getting the tunnel vision. So sometimes, like, let's say just for maybe we have a string of burglaries that are going on in the area, and we potentially, we have a late night patrol unit. They snag this a certain offender, and immediately they always try to, throw every single burglary, like, now, from now to Kingdom Come, like, oh my God, we could close out 20 burglaries, like,
Mhm.
now maybe this person, certain mo and whatnot, they very well, they probably were involved in other burglaries, because yeah, sorry about that. Should stop us. Okay, good. They're very they probably are involved in several crimes, but just because necessarily that they were involved in one doesn't mean they're involved in all 20 burglaries that happen. It's
Right.
there's like
Right.
this supreme, supreme tunnel vision, like, we have to clear the case. We got to clear the case. So
Mhm.
I can tell you 100% that this goes on. This goes on all the time, all the
See,
time.
Okay.
not to
All right.
mention like places where one works too. NYPD is huge, folks. So
Right.
don't forget, not even just the big cities, but even smaller cities. There's a lot of pressure put on these departments from like the mayor's office and higher ups and stuff like that to make sure that this shit's been, these cases are being solved, because in turn people are contacting the mayor and the local neighborhood representatives and people like that saying, hey, what's going on? You better deal with this, stuff like that. So that puts more pressure on, the mayor's on the phone calling the
Yeah.
chief and people like that saying, you better deal with this now. I'm not dealing with this stuff, blah,
Yeah.
blah, 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 blah. So that adds more to it, which in turn, like he said, in my opinion, at least, could cause some tunnel vision, because, if you got, like he said, a string of burglaries going on, people are flipping out, calling the mayor's office every other day saying they don't feel safe, blah, blah, blah. In turn,
Yeah.
they push it
Yeah.
to hurry up and get it solved, just like what we saw in Idaho. There was a push to get that case solved now, okay? And due to the university, in my opinion, as well as, Moscow PD looking bad, blah, 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 blah. So I agree with him wholeheartedly on the way he explained that, yes.
All right. What
Here's
do
a
you
little
think, JJ?
question.
Well, this is kind of in conjunction with what One and Dago said. Uh, any job, like any corporation, any law enforcement, things like that, politics, it's compartmentalized. Like the the people working in the trenches don't know what the commissioner is talking to higher ups about, and the mayor and the governor and all these things. And in the case of Idaho 4, the school is very powerful in that area. And so what you've seen in many high profile cases, and I always mention the West Memphis 3, when you have people with political aspirations that are in higher positions, like a police commissioner or somebody that's higher up the ladder, they are worried about the big picture. They're worried about donations to the organization. They're worried about, if it's a corporation, they're worried about investors, their stock prices, all these different things. And these things, and I say it all the time, it's the big money, big power influence things. And so I do believe that regular people are not looking, in my opinion, to screw the public, to lie to the public, but they have to answer to people above them. And so I believe that oftentimes when there's high pressure, high impact, high profile cases, that oftentimes they take that route and they look at it from a political perspective, from a money perspective. And guys, when big money and power are involved, we've seen it, we see it every day. Human life is not their number one priority.
No,
So
no.
I
And as
have a
go ahead.
follow-up question to that. Do you think there's more pressure in the smaller towns or the bigger cities, or it doesn't really matter? What what do you guys think about that?
I definitely think that in a smaller town, I don't know in this day and age if there's not too many places on earth that aren't influenced by money in some way, shape, or form. Right? Because sometimes smaller towns, you know, they may be farming communities, they may be, so there is money involved in that area, that there's commerce and there's economic related stuff. So, but I would have to say, in a city like New York, for example, there's money beyond what any of us can comprehend. And anywhere, and I've seen this, I can get into it a little bit on here. I've seen it firsthand. When you have a university, look at the Austin Lady Bird Lake scenario. I followed that pretty closely and dug into that. Look at, and I know Dago talked about that too. Look at the way they swept a lot of things under the rug, and look at many cases. Look at the Central Park 5, and the West Memphis 3. The prosecutor had political aspirations. So, but I would have to say, Robin, that in big cities, there is so much money on the line. I mean, insane, ridiculous. New York.
And deals under the table, all kinds of,
Big time.
I mean, what's in New York City?
So many
stock
deals that go
exchange.
on, right? So many deals that are done under the table that
And when you have people that are coming down hammering the mayor, saying, his reelection is very important to him because that's money out of his pocket. If he's no longer the mayor, that lifestyle they've been living, or the governor or whoever, they're getting phone calls, like I said, day after day after day after day. You better fix this. Therefore, they're driving up the chief and the captains and all that downtown. They're driving up their rear end saying, hey, you better fix this, because if I lose the next election because you didn't solve this case, we have a problem. It's all money, guys. It all goes back to money. Every bit of it, in my opinion.
And just an aside to all that is, a lot of times you could have communities where the population of that community might be economically suppressed, but there's big business interests in that area. A perfect example is the Native American reservations, where I live out west in the Southwest, and I've seen it. I've been through those areas, and they're often exploited areas. So there is big money interest. There may be natural gas drilling operations
Yep.
going on. There might be oil drilling operations going on. And I won't
Mhm.
give too much information about it, but I live in a geographically very small area, but it's lorded over by a multinational massive corporation. And I personally know firsthand information about crimes that happened that were lied about to the public
Right. Right.
in
Yeah.
the area where I live, multiple, including deaths. So
Um,
Yeah.
but I gotta
Yeah.
mention something quick, because we're talking about the list case a little bit. So
Right.
in that specific example, so I would say I have, like I said, I have my experience and from what I know and how the police department runs. Absolutely, I would say big money is the number one answer. Reason, holding the gavel. However, there's a however here. The list case is a special case. I'm saying that there's no other case like it, but the list case is a little bit special because in that particular case, I don't think it's about money in that case. So you have someone high up in the department, and think about it. If you have a case, so we're talking about this big money in Idaho, and now we know, right? The college basically,
Right.
basically, it seems like if you're higher up on whatever, like, field or commission or whatever in the university, you're probably above the MPD. Like it seems like the university holds a higher standard. That's what it
Right.
appears to me. Now,
Absolutely.
applying that to LISC, now, how is that different? What is that? For those of you who aren't fully aware, well, I don't really feel that big money has anything to do with the list. Now, what does have to do, what I feel, what I think, um, you'd have one of two things. So if it's not big money, that what is getting involved with Lisk and what's causing, why was there so much, our favorite word now on the show, fuckery, right?
Yep.
With investigations and what the hell is going on. Well, in this particular case, you have someone extremely high up in the department, which we pretty much we have the evidence that was involved in some kind of involvement with prostitution and sex parties and all kinds of nonsense. So in
Mhm.
that case, you really don't have the big money, but you have someone high up, and God knows who else. I'm sure he's not the. I'm sure he's not the
Yeah.
only one.
No.
But we know Burke. We know Burke,
Yep.
former chief at Suffolk County over there.
Yeah.
He definitely was involved in some kind of sex parties, and he basically was in the same kind of crowd and environment that Rex
Mhm.
Hurman was involved with. So in that case, I don't really feel that big money is an example for
No.
there, but it shows the example. If it's not big money, then it's probably someone high up that is knee deep involved in some
Right.
kind of
So it involves reputation.
corruption. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And not to mention in Long Island, I mean, I'm not sure because I don't live out there. You do, you would know this, but Long Island is somewhat of a resort area, correct? A tourist type area in some senses.
I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, people go there. Yeah, for lots
Yes.
of lots of
We have a lot of
tourist sites.
beaches
Yeah.
and stuff. Yes.
So, in
Right.
that aspect, in a sense, to add to that, in my opinion, at least I would say that's going to take money away if people are afraid to go
Yeah.
here because they're not, I'm not going there. I'm not going there. I'm not going to fall into,
Oh yeah,
crap,
definitely.
so that, in my
Definitely.
opinion,
No.
definitely has an
It would.
influence.
It would. But yeah, I just think in that case, because Burke himself, he was knee deep involved
Yeah.
in the sex thing. That's why he the quickest he could get rid of the FBI and get them off.
Right.
Yeah, they're not.
He was
looking at him.
involved. I'm not saying now. Let me be clear, because we got to be clear. I'm not saying that Burke killed anyone. We don't know that. I'm not saying that, but we do know he was involved with prostitutes and
Yep.
you know,
And he
some
beat up
kind
some
of, you
people,
know,
and
he beat up, so he's not exactly,
he's not a
you know, he
good
doesn't
guy.
follow the law. He doesn't really follow the law.
Right.
You
And
know,
the arrows that the FBI would be looking at would at some point point to Burke, and he doesn't want
Right.
them finding that stuff out. So
exactly.
come on, move along as fast as
Right.
you can, boys.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Burke was something else, buddy. I'll tell you that much.
Oh,
Yeah,
my
yeah, he
gosh.
was. Yeah, between him and Spoda. Yeah.
That's dirty as dirty can be.
And look,
Yep.
people
Yep.
protect each other, you know, oftentimes.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sure.
And that's to clarify, in all the cases and examples I gave, corruption is involved.
Yeah.
Because
Mm-hmm.
to look the other way about information is, in my opinion, a form of corruption. And when you have, he was interacting with things that were very closely or directly related to this case. So,
Mhm.
you know,
It's
then you
kinda-
start getting into who's protecting who and covering whose ass and things
Mhm.
like that. And I think that can be applied to many different scenarios.
Yeah, and it's kind of sad how
Yeah.
many of these cases you guys are actually. If you look at, we all know Idaho's got issues. Delphi has issues. The Karen Reed case had issues. Thank God that worked out the way it did. Long Island has a lot of issues, and many other. That's just 5 that I can think of right off the top of my head that we're all looking at.
Right.
You know, there's just like I said before. Are there any
And
black and white cut and dry cases anymore
Yeah.
that don't involve corruption? It's kind of sad.
and I think the main point, I think a big thing with these cases and this reoccurring topic, goes to really what JJ said the other. He's said it a few times, and I think it might be the main thing. Hopefully, that happens with the Idaho 4 is, unfortunately, with some of these cases that, you know, again, there's so much fuckery and manipulation and nonsense that goes on. And
Right.
until you have a whistleblower that actually comes forward that has whatever, you know, some kind of concrete, like, backing info that's indisputable, that, you know, people get, you know, someone's going to try to tear them apart and throw them to the wolves, but no matter what, their info that they have is so undisputable, like, it is what it is, and
Mhm.
it'll tear whatever case wide open. So hopefully we do get that in Idaho
Yeah.
4, because I cannot believe that there's this much level of, you know, fuckery, douchebagness, whatever you want to call it, and and
Oh, there we
and
go.
then-
I like that.
and there's
Douchebaggery.
Douchebaggery.
You know,
There you
Another
go.
word, douchebaggery.
there's got to be someone out there that holds the key, that holds some kind of key to, you know, that will open the door for further info, besides
Right.
from them just, you know, dropping 2,000 MPD documents, and then we ask another 5,000 questions.
Well, part of it, I think,
Yeah.
with probably many of these, or if not all of these cases, there's a relativity of fear involved in this, because
Yes, absolutely.
people
Sure.
one are afraid to come forward, and I think I've seen it in
Definitely.
multiple cases.
Yeah.
Guys. Yes, you know, because they don't want to rock the boat. Okay, because who knows?
Yeah.
You know, especially with what we've seen done to some of the victims, I can't imagine anybody's going to go, I'm not saying nothing. I don't, I'm backing, that's your business, not mine, because they're afraid of what
Mhm.
will happen to them in that aspect, in my opinion. So,
Yeah.
So now we get into profiling versus proof. And so when Rex was arrested, you know, the story kind of snapped into place, and it and suddenly it was like every detail was interpreted through like a single lens. Now, it doesn't mean necessarily that investigators are wrong when this happens, but it does mean that we we have to be careful. Because once a suspect fits the story, the danger is that the story starts fitting the evidence. And it's kind of like the tail wagging the dog kind of thing. And that's where there's a lot of a cautionary tale, so to speak, with this. Now, we're going to watch a video in just a little bit here. I have some sections of videos to play from Joe Jackalone. He has a channel. He's True Crime with the Sarge. He has been an NYPD cop for, I don't know, 30 years or so, I think. He works closely with Josh Zeman, who is a director, producer, writer of documentaries, especially to do with the List case. The one that he did, all of his stuff is excellent, but he did The Killing Season, which, kind of, he tried to find new leads to do with the Gilgo Beach murders. Just excellent investigative work, him and his partner, Jennifer. So they do their own podcast together quite a bit. And, they were recently talking about the book Mindhunter. And this was a book by John E. Douglas and Mark Olshaker, and that details former FBI agent John Douglas's pioneering work developing criminal profiling. So he's kind of like the founding father, and this book, has all kinds of case studies in it. And we do know from evidence that was obtained from Rex, and actually the pronunciation of his last name is Hoyerman. I just recently found that out, that it's not Heuermann, it's Hoyerman. So it's a German name, so I'll try to remember to pronounce it correctly, but no guarantees. But anyhow, so in the evidence that was found on a computer from his residence, there was a planning document that, he had lists on there of everything from things to do better next time to equipment you're going to need, where to, dispose of the bodies, so forth and so on. And one of the things on this was the book Mindhunter. So we know that he studied this book. So now, from this, we can say, okay, we're developing a profile about Rex. There's a lot of things that kind of fits the narrative of a serial killer, so forth and so on. And again, that is important. But once again, we're kind of finding out in this case that there was some tunnel vision going on here, and we'll get to that in just a moment here. But television kind of, we see it all the time. The mainstream media, the narrative is pushed so hard with everything. So even though the media wants to create this, the actual evidence still matters. So we have to keep that in mind always. So I'm going to go on to our next question.
Robin, Mindhunter also was a Netflix series too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it was.
That's right.
Good.
And I believe they have a new season coming out.
Oh, really?
Soon.
Yeah. I'll have to check that out. I was bummed out when they only did two.
Yeah, they did a lot of great stuff on there. They went all the way back to many guys, covered a lot of them. And
excellent.
I can't wait for the new season to be coming.
I'll be right back in 1 sec.
Okay. So our next question is, do you think public pressure affects how the Lisk evidence is interpreted? And we're talking about that a little bit there last time. The pressure, Do you think that affected how the evidence in this case in particular was interpreted?
I think that plays off of the last kind of into the last question in a
Right.
sense.
Yeah.
Because,
Exactly.
Public pressure, again, like I was saying,
Yeah.
calling the mayor's office. What are you doing about this? I'm scared, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
Yeah, okay, well, it kind of looks like they did it, but you know what? We need to solve this. So get it done. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Of course.
exactly.
Of course.
So you could find 15, 20, 25 bodies along Gilgo Beach. They want to throw all of them at Rex. Oh yeah, Rex did everything. Throw the whole ocean at him.
Anytime something pops up out there now, it's Rex. It's Rex. Because I know we've seen now that
Yep.
was it Peaches and the baby now are
Yes.
We're gonna get into that.
yeah. Oh, gotcha. So
Yep.
you
We're
guys know where I'm going
that's
then. Absolutely.
so. Somebody said something in the chat about a dentist blowing up. I don't know what that means.
There's a new case that just dropped that's gonna
Oh,
it's gonna blow up pretty big. I'll be covering that one too.
oh, okay. I thought okay, it had something to do with a dentist and a bomb. I didn't. Okay. All right.
That would be pretty tore up, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. And here we go again. TV portrays crimes as these neat little things that fit in all these little compartments. And within, 50, 60 minutes, well, minus commercials, whatever, everything is wrapped up neat as a bow because that's how we like it as humans. We like things to be solved, and I think that's why in a lot of these cases, Idaho 4, Lyft, we want that resolution. We want to know the truth about what happened. I mean, so many of the guilters, and they're mainstream. They're like, okay, Brian pled guilty, yada yada. It's over. Well, as we can all see, it's not over. It's not over, and it's the same way with this case, with the List case. This case, just because Rex was arrested, this case is also far from over, and it's because partly of the whole tunnel vision. Profiling should guide questions, not necessarily answer them. So we have to be careful about that. The evidence, it has to prove the theory, not kind of, oh my gosh, I just lost my train of thought. It has to be proven through the evidence, not just theory.
Yes.
So
and even profilers can be, can get
wrong.
confirmation bias. Humans, any human
Mhm.
can have confirmation bias. So it could happen
Right.
to anybody, even experts.
Right. Absolutely. And that's what we see it time and again recently. So I don't know if anybody watches. These are all good shows, by the way. Anyhow.
Very much so. Yes. I think we all watch all
Yes.
that stuff.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. All right, so our next question: do you think profiling is over-trusted by the public?
Yes.
Do you think
Absolutely.
profiling is over?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Without a doubt.
Yep.
Especially, I mean, look at Idaho 4. Kohlberger, he's a whack job,
Yep.
right? He's a whack
They said he
job.
did it.
He's
That's
a whack job. He's a whack job loser. He can has no friends.
Yep.
He's weird. Look at his eyes. He can't have a conversation. He can't do this. Can't do that. Like
He went to Costco.
He
I mean,
washes. Yeah, he
Try to
buys
get some
gallons of
coffee,
bleach.
God forbid.
Buys gallons of bleach every week. Why, throws bleach in his car.
Especially when you have a somebody that worked with the FBI come forward and she says, "Oh, well, this here, here, and here proves that he did this." And all she mentions is that he's different, that he's odd, that he did this, that he did that. Well, who the hell are you to make that decision? And people
Right.
look at the 3-letter names and say, "Oh, she must know everything because she worked for the FBI." From what I've seen from her, for all we know, she could have been a damn janitor for them because she sure as hell doesn't seem to know much of anything else. So I'm not going to throw her name out
Right.
there, but I'm sure you guys could figure it out.
Well, you got to feed the
Yep.
machine, and the
Yeah.
media is a machine, and they have
Right.
these talking heads that are regulars on these different programs, from the regular news to crime shows, etc. And so they also want access to law enforcement people, right? And they know if they go against the narrative that's being presented, the official narrative, quote unquote, they're not going to have access to these people. And
Right.
it's a business. You have to keep feeding the machine. You got to get your certain attorneys on. You got to get your investigators, your former, FBI guys, et cetera, and so on. And it's just, so it's a big cycle, and it has to feed itself. So that's why
Right.
it's all about narratives, because narratives are what drive profits.
That's a good
Yeah,
point.
we're gonna sue.
Very
We're
good
gonna
point.
sue Costco next. I like that, Seahawks fan.
I
I
mean,
like that.
that's how they try to make it come off. That's for sure.
Right. Right. Absolutely. So now, here we go. Andrew Dykes. Peaches, she went years without being identified. She was called that because she had had a tattoo of a peach that had a bite out of it with a couple of drops coming out of it on her chest. And so that was how they had no other way to identify her at the time. I mean, we're talking, this is like, really before a lot of the big technological advances and with forensics and so forth. So that's why they called her that. She was found in that area as she had, and again, this is an adult show. We have adult conversations. This is not for little kids. She was found dismembered. Part of, unfortunately, her body was found in a big plastic container, like a tote, at one end of the Gilgo Beach, and then unfortunately, her little toddler, 2 years old, was found. At the time, they called her Baby Doe. She was found on the opposite end of the beach over in Manorville. So, and when Rex was arrested and they started putting things together, it was thought that he was potentially, they kind of lumped Tanya. They were able to, a couple of years ago here now, about a year and a half ago, identify this is Tanya Jackson, and her baby girl, her name is Tatiana. They originally were thinking that she was one of Rex's victims, that they both were. However, recently, Andrew Dykes was actually arrested for the murder of Tanya Jackson. Now, my goodness. All right. Andrew Dykes, he was married at the time. He's a father of two. He began a relationship with Tanya Jackson and father Tatiana. He was a member of the United States Army from October of 1980 to February of 2001. Dykes and Tanya Jackson met during their military service at Fort Sam Houston in San Antonio, Texas. Tatiana was born in San Antonio, March 17th of 1995 during their assignment. Dykes was a military instructor who specialized in anatomy and physiology, which is one of the things that they're kind of counting against him, so to speak, or one of the reasons they're saying that, you know, he could have done the dismemberment. He was an expert in, you know, the human body and that kind of thing. So now the military records for him discuss his excellence specifically in the skeletal systems, digestive systems, and blood. He was transferred to Fort Hamilton in Brooklyn, New York in 1995. And according to the investigation, Tanya Jackson and her newborn daughter Tatiana joined him in Brooklyn shortly after. So now you might think, okay, all right, did he kill her because he's married and he didn't want his wife to find out? Maybe that was a potential motive. According to Andrew's son, that's not the case. Andrew Dykes' wife did know about the affair and actually knew about the baby. It didn't seem as though Tanya was trying to cause him, any issues. In October of 2024, after conducting surveillance of Dykes near his home in Florida, investigators recovered a plastic drinking cup and straw that Dykes had purchased at a Charlie's Cheesesteaks restaurant in Tampa. He drank from it and discarded it in the trash and obtained, they were able to obtain a DNA sample from that. So they did serve in the military together. Of course, that's how they met. Became involved and had Tatiana. And so he was arrested in Ruskin, Florida on December the 3rd by the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office and extradited to Nassau County, New York, to face the murder charge on December the 18th. So this kind of throws a wrench in some things. We have, the arraignment, of course, even though the evidence has not been fully disclosed and has not been fully investigated, it doesn't seem, and it frames and shapes the perception of what's going on now with this particular victim, well, both victims, really. So, all right. Our next question is, do prosecutors shape public opinion too early? What do you guys think about that?
Sure, because they're trying to frame whether you have someone that's a good investigator that is trying to play coy and is trying to just establish behavior of different possible suspects or whatnot, but they want to control the narrative. I absolutely.
So
good Lord, yes.
Go ahead, Joe.
Well, I was just going to say, a lot of prosecutors often have political aspirations. They want to move up to a bigger position, and if with high profile cases, they get exposure to the public, a lot of exposure.
Right.
And this also goes down the line, like a police chief, a commissioner, whatever. They do these press conferences, right? And they always are standing behind, it's the standard thing. They have a line of people standing behind them, and they each get a chance to speak, and they big up each other and say what an amazing job they're all doing. because they want their funding, they want their donations.
Mhm.
And if it's a prosecutor in a high profile case, he wants to be the guy that catches the guy or catches the perpetrator in a high profile case because it's good for their career. And
Sure.
so I think
Mhm.
it is, and again, that speaks to the compartmentalization that goes on. Look, if I'm a
Mhm.
police officer, one knows this. I don't. I'm speculating, but I do know a lot of cops. I'm doing my job. I'm out there working, doing my job. I have no sway over my superiors and a prosecutor, right? So I'm gonna
Right.
do what I'm told to do, right? I mean,
Mhm.
Mhm.
one has to do his job, right? And he has bosses that he has to answer to. Now, I'm not one knows way more about this than I do, but higher up is compartmentalized from the people in the trenches, like I said before. And I think if a prosecutor is able to shape public opinion, it's good for their career, it's good for funding, and
Mhm.
so I 100% think they often shape public opinion
Mhm.
too early.
Way too early. I agree.
Definitely. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
By the
This
way,
is DA Donnelly. She is the prosecutor for the Andrew Dykes case. Um, and she is a prime example of the tunnel vision that I'm talking about. And I'm not trying to attack her or anything else like that. I'm just saying that, and this isn't just me saying this. I mean, you have, as you're going to see, I'm going to play some video clips from, uh, like I said, Joe Jackalone over at True Crime with the Sarge, and Josh Zeman from podcast Sinister. We're still trying to get an interview with um, Josh Zeman. We're working on that. I know that he and Lee have been communicating back and forth regarding schedule and that kind of thing. So hopefully we can get that worked out with everybody's schedules. So now I'm going to see if I can get this going because, as we all know, what happened?
Hmm?
Oh,
you okay?
I don't know why it took away that other screen.
You're getting too
On
close.
this topic,
Yeah.
the second or third, I can't remember, chapter of that book, Framed, the guy who was the like head custodian guy in Texas, who got railroaded, and
Case 3, I believe.
yeah, I think so. I think you're right. He got railroaded, and they basically discarded evidence, key evidence in the case of the girl, the high school girl who was raped and murdered,
Mhm.
and like literally threw out evidence early on in the case,
Yeah.
and railroaded this guy, and he went to jail for a long time, a significant amount of time,
Yeah.
and you know it happens most people probably I think our audience probably is more hip to this stuff, but your average person who maybe doesn't follow cases, I don't think they realize how much fuckery goes on with prosecuting people. I just don't think they
Yeah,
realize it, and that's why when we talk about the Brian Koberger situation, all these others, they think we're just lunatics. They don't know the history behind it.
Very
right.
true. Very true.
Right. Okay.
Very, very true. Don't forget the douchebaggery either, Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah, the douchebaggery. Don't
There's a lot
forget
of
that.
douchebaggery out
Every
there
lot
too.
of douchebaggery. Okay. So these guys, we're gonna kind of skip around a little bit. We're not gonna, of course, because this is like an hour long, but I'm just gonna skip around to the more important parts. You guys will have to let me know. Make sure this is coming through with sound. So, and this is Joe Jackalone over here. I don't know if you can see my cursor. He's on the left, and then this is, of course, Josh Zeman over here on the right. So, and they're going to be talking a little bit about some of the kind of like not preliminary necessarily, but well, anyway. Let me know if you can hear this.
Sarge, I'm your host, Joseph Jackalone, and with us today, Josh Zeman, writer, producer, and director of The Killing Season, also the hit podcast Monster, and also his own YouTube channel, Sinister, with Josh Zeman.
Can you guys hear it?
Yep.
Yep.
It's all good.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay.
Josh, good to see you again.
Good to see you, Joe. How are you?
Good, hanging in there. I woke up with the flu yesterday, so I will do my best to get us all through this. But we had some unbelievable news this week. The arraignment, finally, of Andrew Dykes in the charging of murder in regards to Tanya Jackson, formerly known as Peaches. What was your first... I guess we're going to play bits and pieces of it, folks, of the presser. But Josh, when you watched it, presser, what was your first thought on what was going on here?
Well, I'll be honest. I was expecting to eat a little crow for being so fervent about it. Didn't make sense. And I was like, oh, they're going to have some evidence and everything. But then watching it, I became really disappointed that they didn't have what, in some ways I kind of hoped that they had it. And then it was just astounding how little they had, and then how they tried to like talk over journalists who were asking the questions. And then I got kind of upset because it doesn't make any sense. And the last thing I think any of us wants to see is further confusion in a case that we've been just waiting for answers on, and then further confusion by law enforcement or the DA's office, because I had hoped that we put all that behind us.
Yeah, no, I mean, I watched it and I was just, I guess I was just like, wow, right? Like, holy cow. I mean, listen, when they came out with her identification, I was up here. And then after the arrest and the announcement, I was a little skeptical at first about it. Like you said, I was waiting for her to come on and say, okay, they got their man. Now I'm questioning, do they have the right guy, or do they even have enough evidence? Do they have the right guy? Probably. But the question comes down to is, do they have enough to convict him? I don't know.
That is an excellent point.
Sure
and
is.
goes exactly to what we're talking about. I mean, this has so many implications for the List case, even though this is kind of now kind of a peripheral type thing, but yet it still ties directly into Rex Hornerman's case.
Right.
So, what are your thoughts so far with this, guys?
That's a loaded question, Robin.
Yeah.
It's a definite loaded question there. Go for it. Go for it, buddy.
Okay.
I mean, there's just so much. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's just, I mean, how many bodies are they going to keep finding? And again, like, you can't just keep throwing them all on Rex. Like, oh, there's a body. Right. It must be Rex. It must be Rex.
Right.
Like, I mean, that's, you got to do a little bit of an investigation. Like, can't just, they're not,
right.
I mean, right away.
To...
I mean, some of the Peaches and Tatiana didn't even match the MO of the bodies. Now, is it true that over time, over period, can a certain serial killer or a killer, can they kind of morph? Can they kind of change their MO a bit? Sure. Sure. It's possible. but this was just so like it was just so off.
Yeah.
I mean, from the beginning. I mean, I didn't. It did. You know what? What does Rex have? What would he possibly have to do with a baby and this guy? Like, it just doesn't
They
seem
don't.
in
They
his
don't usually.
wheelhouse.
Yeah, they don't usually change, in my opinion. I don't mean to interrupt you on one, but
Yeah, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
From what I followed, obviously, guys, this is our thing. A lot of us have covered, many serial killers per se. Bundy, Ramirez, Dahmer, all of them. Okay, that's what our thing is. That's what we do. And in turn, you kind of get used to looking at, like when we was talking about their MOs and how they do what they do, which is how you know that they've done something.
Right.
So that's like he said, they will in some aspects change their MO to some aspect, but to go in the distance of taking the life of a baby, that, in my opinion, that's not Hoyerman's. Not even his close to his
Or a dismemberment of a torso.
Right. Yeah.
He had right. That doesn't
that'd be
match.
like Dahmer going
Right.
and then, killing everybody he did, and then one day he starts killing supermodels or something. You know what I mean?
Right.
It doesn't fit at all. So it just no, and that promotes the ability for law enforcement. No offense, one because this doesn't pertain to you, but for law enforcement to just be lazy. It's just utter laziness in an aspect. How many bodies have they thrown at him already that we know now for a fact these two are not his? We also know,
but do we?
Well, okay, let me rephrase that. You're right. We have a strong belief now that it's possible that these two are not his. There's a very strong belief that Shannon Gilbert is not his. And I believe there was another one as well that people have doubted on this aspect as well. But at the same time, they could be. We don't know. That's right.
Right.
There's something I'd like to get one's take on this. He's a Long Island boy. He lives in that area. Clearly that area would be an ideal dumping ground for people that were committing murders.
Absolutely.
Right? And this is just like when we've heard all the old stories about the mafia back in the day in the Meadowlands, and they would dump bodies in the Meadowlands because it's this massive marshland.
Yep.
And a lot of bodies have been found in areas like that over the years. And it for someone that has an MO, which many serial killers have a fairly identifiable MO.
Right.
And then you have to also consider, and this is what I wanted to get one's feedback on. Let's just say, hypothetically speaking, just speculation, that there were people connected to, I'm not going to even say it directly, law enforcement that could be guilty of crimes. And what better way to divert attention away from, because remember, even if it was a cop in the past, a police force doesn't want this kind of shit connected to them.
No, absolutely.
So it would be in their best interest to pin, is if you can frame somebody instead of you taking the heat. That's, if there's any reason to frame somebody, that's one. You don't want things to point to you. If you're in a position of authority, you can frame somebody else or divert attention away from certain things. And have you had that impression at all in the List case, one that maybe it's possible that there were law enforcement that were complicit?
Yeah, definitely. I think you're right on the money with that.
Because it just seems like
you're right on the money with that. I mean, is it like you have to think, do you think that, I mean, I was like Suffolk County Police. I think they probably have around, 1,500 officers, something like that. It's nowhere near like an NYPD, type thing. But do I think that, is it possible that Burke was just some crazy whack job into these sex things or whatever, and he went off on his own? It's possible, but I think probably more likely that he was involved with probably a bunch of high people, whether it was maybe it doesn't necessarily all have to be police. Could be maybe other political people, or you got this doctor, right, that Shannon, this police surgeon. So he's not a cop, but he worked. I mean, he supposedly gave aid to Shannon, while she called 911, and he apparently tried to help her and whatnot. So there's definitely, I definitely think there's probably like a group, of individuals involved. I don't think it's like a lone wolf, like one outlier.
Right. And
Right.
I agree with you on that as well. Kim made a statement from Typically Unique over there and said that high profile people involved. I absolutely believe that. People that are involved in higher places involved are right along with Burke 100%. I feel that wholeheartedly, and I have from day one with this one. So,
and a lot of I spent a lot of time in New York City, and I worked in bars, and I've been around the late night scenes in New York and things like that. And there's dark shit that goes on,
Yeah.
I used to, in Manhattan, I don't know if it's like this now, but it always was. There were after hours bars that didn't even open till like 3 or 4 a.m. And people, if you went out to the bars, and a bar might close at 3 or 4, and then the clubs would usually be open till 6 a.m., a lot of them. But there would be after hours bars that would open at like 4 a.m. And I used to go out to after hours bars and all these different places because I worked in bars. Like I knew of places that most people didn't know about. And there's some dark shit that goes on, man. And when you have people with money and drugs are involved, which in the after hours scene, a lot of the people are into drugs. And so like you see this there's like a dark environment that maybe the general public is not exposed to. And you see it's not hard to imagine a scenario where cops, because we know that a lot of this shit was originated in Manhattan,
right.
In many cases. It's not crazy to imagine this scenario like we've heard, like with sex parties and drugs. Things can get squirrely real quick when people are doing drugs.
Yep.
And especially people who have a little authority and power. So I think that there's a lot of backdoor fuckery going on that's being hid from the public, or it's at the very least it's being obscured a little bit. Like
you're absolutely right, Joe. Ryan, area, sorry, I didn't mean to step on.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, my area. I'm in Ohio. I played in bars for years. I'm a musician as well, and being in that crowd, folks, we live the nightlife always. Okay, we sleep during. We're like vampires. We sleep during the day and we live the nightlife. Period.
Hey, good.
So doing that, you encounter things that normal people, for lack of better terms, don't see during daylight hours and all this, and you kind of become, in Ohio. Good Lord, you would think we're the most boring state in the union, but guess what? No, we're not. Cleveland has these places Joe's talking about, the after hours bars. Pittsburgh has these after hours places. Akron had them. Akron's pretty shut down now, but everywhere Cleveland and shit goes on. Okay, when you're going to a bar at 4 o'clock in the morning, and you hand them a $20 bill, you walk through the door, and you can't imagine what you're seeing. Shit you only see in the movies. And you just turn around and walk right back away from it, because I don't want to get in the middle of that mix. And it's crazy stuff. It's a dark atmosphere and society that's out there at this time of night in these places, because they're hidden. Nobody sees it, so they don't worry about it. So yeah,
Right.
Joe's right as hell on that one, folks. I've seen
Yeah, and I'll share a really quick story. I started going to bars in New York City at a pretty young age, because I came from a huge family, had older brothers and stuff. And my brothers would take me to Manhattan when I was like 16 or 17. And back then you could get into bars as long as you were dressed nice.
Yep.
They wouldn't even card you if you were with someone that's older. So I go into the city. My brother lived downtown. And so I meet him in the city, and I pick him up at his apartment, and he's got his his little spots that he goes to, and he takes me to a regular bar. It's a regular New York bar, pool tables, little bar, whatever. Have a couple of beers, and it starts getting late. And my brother was a Brooklyn boy through and through. He kind of came up on the streets, and he takes me to an illegal gambling club in Manhattan. And I'm like, I swear, I think I was like 18 years old at the time. And he takes me to this club, and it's like one of those things. It's like in an alley, and like you knock on the door, and a guy answers the door. He's got a holster under his arm. My brother knew them, because he was a man. He lived in the city, and he gambled and stuff, and this shit that was going on. Remember, now I was still pretty naive at that point. I was younger, and I was like shocked, like that. I'm like, this shit really exists. And then as I got older, and I started, I worked in a famous music club in New York. I bartended at a really trendy bar in New York. And you find out about things when you work at bars in the city that your average person does not even know exists. And I can see a scenario where, people that have connections in New York City, because a lot of escorts and things like that, they use the city as a hub because there's a lot of money there. And I could see a scenario in which there were powerful people who were bringing girls to these sex parties, and drugs were involved. And there's dark shit, man. There's a lot of, I've seen a lot of it. Thankfully I never got sucked into it. But
Yeah.
Dago knows, any musician, like, especially if you've played in New York City or a big city, it's a whole different world in a city. It's a whole different world.
Absolutely.
And my point is that there's a lot of dark shit that goes on that people who've seen it, one wouldn't think twice about it. He wouldn't even bat his eyes at it. He knows what goes on. But a lot of people don't really, they're not exposed to that stuff. So it seems like far-fetched to them.
Yeah, they see it in the movies and go, oh, well, that's just a movie, this and that. Listen, guys, the areas I'm talking about, especially 90s and 80s and stuff, and even further back, the area I'm from, Youngstown, Ohio, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, and all that, the mob was huge here. Okay, they ran these areas, period, just like in New York. Okay, and they ran these places pretty much. And if you know what you know about the mob, you know what you know. That's all I'm saying. And the types of places they ran, period. They ran top of the line businesses as well, to be able to do the things they had to do out in the open. But there were these things in the background that, like Joe's saying, and it's all real, big time. And it's no joke. So, like I said, I ran into some of these places on accident myself. And I'm like, it scared me. As a grown man, it scared me. Like, I don't know if I want to be here. I don't know what's going to go down. I don't know what's going to happen, because you see the possibility of other things happening to other people, you don't want to be there. So it's real. It's absolutely real. No lie.
Yeah, I
So,
lived in for 3 years. I lived in like arguably the biggest mob town in New Jersey. I'll talk with one off stream about some of the stuff
Yeah.
because I don't wanna take us too far off
yeah.
course.
I saw
Okay.
someone had a quick question. They were asking about Burke. So Burke was a former chief in Suffolk County. So he
Right.
was above captain. So just to give you a little quick rundown on Burke, for those of you who aren't. So this was the guy who when they were looking for Shannon Gilbert, okay, this is when they initially found they didn't find her right away. Okay, this is
No.
when they first made. I think they first made Lost Girls was the first documentary, and then I think Gone Girls came
Right.
after. And Shannon's mother was going nuts and like trying to push, and she was basically getting nowhere because her daughter's a prostitute, and apparently her life isn't as valuable. Or is it that not that so much her life is not as valuable, which you can look at is that how they're looking at it. But you got to remember, again, Burke was wound up being the chief, and if he's involved in corruption and he's involved in this stuff, he's going to try to push it under the rug any which way he can. So this is just a little background on what happened with Burke. In May 2013, FBI U.S. Attorney's Office, they opened an investigation into Burke's alleged beating of a suspect in police custody, a subsequent cover-up, and coercion of witnesses. Burke was charged with assaulting Christopher Loeb after Loeb was arrested for allegedly breaking into Burke's unlocked vehicle, and listen to this carefully, stealing a gun belt, ammunition, a box of cigars, I hope they were good cigars, and a bag containing sex toys and pornography. Burke was arrested at his home in St. James, New York in December 2013. Burke pleaded guilty to reduced charges in February 2016 as per a plea bargain offered by United States District Court for the Eastern District of New York prosecutor Lara Gatz and co-counsel John Durham. Following Burke's guilty plea, Suffolk County Executive Steve Ballone commented, "Jim Burke, someone I entrusted with great responsibility, lied to my face for nearly 3 years, orchestrated a cover-up to perpetuate that lie." In November 2016, Burke was sentenced to 46 months in federal prison for assault and obstruction of justice. In January 2017, Burke began serving his sentence at Federal Correction Institution Allenwood Low. He was released to house arrest in November 2018. His sentence was completed in April 2019. So you see how all these special favors get done? You just read that. He started his sentence in 2017, and now he's already his sentence is completed by 2019. That's not 46 months.
No.
Now, further, now this is his most recent stint. In August 2023, Burke was arrested for public lewdness, offering a sex act, and an unlawful solicitation after allegedly exposing himself to a male plainclothes park ranger at Vietnam Veterans Memorial Park in Farmingville and propositioning him. This was the former chief.
Yeah.
This shows you. This shows you.
Yeah.
What kind of person this guy is. So he's a real, and I don't say it lightly. He is a piece of garbage. Absolutely. And whether he directly had something to do with Shannon or not, that we will see what happens when they've been investigating. But this guy was knee deep in the cover up, and you have to ask why. Okay, if it's a girl, okay, so he's involved with sex parties, or he likes sex or whatever, partying.
He's afraid.
What does that have to do? What would that have to do with what is he so afraid of? What does it have to do with Shannon Gilbert? What does it have to do with any of these other girls? Makes you wonder. that's where you have to go, aha. You got the exclamation point should be going on in your head. Did he know some of these? Right. Does he know some of these girls? Did he party with these girls? And he doesn't. I'm not saying that he killed them. I'm not saying he had anything to do with it at all. But was he involved in this group? You know, that wasn't. You know, so just makes you get. You know,
he didn't take the FBI out for no reason. I'll tell you that.
Right.
There.
Right. Exactly.
It's you know what, that one story about the girl like looking like she needed help at that sex party at that house, and then the cop came out. The person, they said I recognize them as this, you know, police officer or whatever, and they were just like, oh no, it's fine, you know, don't worry about it, because the woman saw the other woman like in the basement window or whatever, trying to like, this dark shit, man. And sociopaths are real, psychopaths are real, and you know, we've all heard the stories, man. Yeah, I mean,
right,
the true crime cases where these people who are, look at John Wayne Gacy, like these people that are respected in the community, and you just never know, you know, who you're dealing with, because a public facade doesn't tell all, and you have to understand that about people. I mean, I don't know if you guys have ever read that book, The Sociopath Next Door. It was written by a Harvard professor. It's kind of like one of the more well-known books about sociopathy. And in that book, she estimates as much as 4% of the population are sociopaths.
Wow. Yeah.
Think about how many people that is.
That's a lot. Yeah, that's a nice amount.
That's millions of people.
Right.
And so, you know, and we all, again, let me just clarify. I know the people who follow true crime know this more than your average person does, but I think sometimes your average person doesn't realize there's people that on the surface look at politicians, man. They put on their public face and they tell you people what they want to hear, and then you find out the shit that they were involved in, right? And so nothing shocks me anymore.
Right.
Yeah. This is true.
We're gonna,
in a lot of senses, power creates predators, and that's a fact.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm going to continue on here with these guys, because I do want to get to kind of where I'm going.
it's a great topic.
You know how I feel. I don't think, you know, I mean, I don't want to be, you know, biased to the original, but there's just things that continue to nag me as to whether they got the right guy. And then it's like, oh my God, do they have the right guy? Do they have the evidence? You know, do they have the right guy, and do they have the evidence for the right guy? And, you know, seeing as you're the expert, I've kind of presented I have my evidence to present to you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, listen, when this story first broke, I had my questions about this, and we actually laid out why I thought that there wasn't enough evidence as far as I was concerned. As a matter of fact, I even said, if I would have presented this case to the Bronx District Attorney's Office, they wouldn't have gone with it. They would have told you, listen, you got to have more evidence than that. They have a child in common. They have relationships. People get back together all the time. Just because they did that and she was found dead, that does not mean that he's the one that did it, right? So they would probably have told me, try to get a confession out of him. That would have probably been the best thing that you could get. And at that point, so, you know, did they move too quickly? Did they get into a thing where they need to do something? I mean, I hope that's not the case, right? Like, we got to do something, so let's do it. I mean,
I think that's where I want to end up the conversation, which is why, if it doesn't make sense, why? But that is an interesting point. If you had brought this to your superiors with their evidence, right? Number one, he is the father of the child. They had not the greatest relationship. And obviously, as we're going to look, they did find his semen inside her. would that be enough? And I guess the knowledge that he had some medical experience, would that have been enough for your DA to move forward?
No, I'm telling you right now, they would have said, okay, you got something. They would have told you, but we need more. We need something else other than that. And it's the fact, I mean, if they were total strangers, this wouldn't be an issue, right? If they were total strangers and, you know, they never knew each other beforehand, then I think you have a much stronger case. But because they have a child in common, they have a previous relationship. She moves to New York just to be with him. You know, I mean, and she and the DA and Donnelly even says that she moved to New York to be with him. So they probably had more than one or two types of relationships going on in that point where they hooked up every now and then or whatever, lack of a better adjective. So
Yeah.
I can't imagine that this entire case. If you remember, Josh, when we talked about this last week, I said I hope this entire case just isn't based on the DNA.
Well, that's what I thought. I mean, to be honest, I was like, okay, here I'm going to get my ass handed to me because they're going to have this evidence. And if you want, I can play some clips to show you guys what we're talking about here.
Yeah, but
Yeah. So this is just going to confuse things further regarding Rex's case, because now you have Andrew Dykes accused of killing Peaches, who originally they were thinking could have been part of the Long Island serial killer murders. And now they're trying to pin those two murders, Peaches and, well, Tanya and Tatiana, on Andrew Dykes, but yet there's not really all that much to go on to pin it on him either. So you still have these two individuals, and because they kind of jumped on this pretty soon, or maybe a little too soon, now it just totally messes stuff up there again.
Yeah.
Who is going to wind up being the guilty party? And so you have to say, maybe, you know, District Attorney Donnelly, she needed to maybe slow down a little bit and not just you know, go full bore for Andrew Dykes. So so now I need to go back to, no, you're gonna share the screen.
This would definitely make for a more
Sounds like,
news eyes on the news if they pinned it on Heuermann, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds like they jumped the gun a little bit, unless there's some other evidence that they're not revealing to us.
Right.
You know,
And
which is possible.
So,
It's, you know,
right,
but
which is possible because we don't know yet. But so we're going to go to our next poll question. Should prosecutors publicly discuss alternative suspects? I'm really interested to hear what you guys think about this. Knowing, especially like what we know with Idaho 4, you know, is it okay, or in your view, should they be talking potentially about alternative suspects, or no?
I think it's okay, but I don't think it matters really. And the reason why I say it doesn't matter, because they're already shaping the narrative onto what they want anyway. So it doesn't, you know, look at what I mean. This is kind of like a weird circumstance because obviously, like, you know, BK already pled guilty. There's the case, you know, potentially, you know, the case is over, right? There's no trial. But look at, you know, some of the stuff. Lee sent a you know, a letter to, you know, ABC, NBC, all these different news outlets, everyone, right? Not one person wants to cover anything.
Right.
You know, about these sounds from 2:30 to 3:30. I think, you know, I don't think it's a problem possibly discussing alternative suspects to an extent, but I don't think it really plays that big of a role, because once they have their narrative they're going down, you know, as the whole, like the beginning of this presentation that you did, they have that tunnel vision, everything, the timeline, everything has to, you know, and there's so much pressure from above, you know.
Yeah.
It would be great to know. It would be great. You know, maybe there is someone out there who knows. It would be great to know that you'd actually have a district attorney or someone on the case that came forward and said, you know what, we actually made a mistake. We actually did this, and, you know, we further looked into this body camera or this video or this audio,
Right.
and we did a check, and you know what, the timeline, we were actually wrong in the timeline. We now feel the crime, you know, but they don't do that.
Yeah.
Because that's
No,
what
they don't.
JJ said. It's all about big money, and it's all about career aspirations, and you know, even forgetting about like the DA or these hired people. So even just look at just not saying that they're simple, you know, they have, you know, millions of subscribers, but just even look at just like in the simplicity of like a Nancy Grace, Brian Etten, Ashley Banfield, like they get one. When have you seen them come on TV and say, oh, by the way, I was wrong about this? Never.
I was
never.
about
And I
that
would have so much more. I would at least start to gain some respect to if they did that. If you want to come, you want to go full force, and I understand they all want to be the first one to cover the case. They want to get this exclusive interview with this person, that person, get boots on the ground. Oh, this is how the crime happened. Look, this, that. I get all that. But you know what?
Yeah.
Then when you have the evidence, when it's conclusively like XYZ, this is 99%, this is what happened, it's an impossibility that happened, then grow some balls and say
Right. Right on. Right
Yes,
on.
sir. Yes, sir.
Yep.
That's why
Like I always say. Oh, sorry, Dago.
that's all right. I was just saying, I've been screaming for forever that these people, they need to be forced into taking accountability for the bullshit that they promote and that they do day after day after day after day. I think we were just talking about this the other night, you guys. Like you were just saying, like they don't care. Okay, they'll say what they're saying, and then they walk away with their hands in their pocket. No big deal. You know, there should be forced accountability in this aspect, because there's enough confusion, enough douchebaggery and fuckery out there as there is. There doesn't need to be any more, and they promote it and cause so much more of it.
Right.
Well, not to get. Oh, sorry, Robin.
No. Go ahead, and then we're gonna see some more douchebaggery. Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, not to get all state of the deep on you guys, but the mainstream media is not obligated to tell the truth.
No.
There's this misconception that they have some legal obligation to tell the public the truth. There's literally been court cases with Fox News, with MSNBC, where it was proven in a court of law that they can't be liable for giving misinformation because people should know they're just giving their opinion. I mean, there's a major law. Anybody can look it up on Congress's website, the Smith-Mundt Modernization Act. Any proxy of the government is legally allowed to propagandize citizens, and the mainstream media has long been linked with U.S. intelligence. That is irrefutable fact.
That's
So-
absolute fact. Yes.
All these places that when they jump on these cases, what they're giving the public is a narrative,
Mhm.
Yep.
because narratives are
Yep.
very profitable. And so,
Sure.
I shit on them all the time because of that
Yeah.
very thing.
Yep.
That's why these law enforcement agencies use them as a tool to spread the propaganda. That is how Brian Koberger was convicted. It wasn't by the prosecution in Latah County, folks. It
No.
wasn't any of that.
So-
It was
no, it was in the media.
The media
Yeah.
Right.
prosecuted
Yeah.
and convicted that man. Period. End of story. Nothing else there.
Yep. We're going to listen now. Unfortunately, this is a little echoey, so I'm hoping it'll be okay. We're going to listen to Donnelly discuss something here, and then we're we're going to get Joe and Josh's reaction. So
Right. And so to say that somebody would take care of the child when she went out, that was kind of a mention like she might have been a sex worker, because why would you say that otherwise? They asked about the tattoo. I'm still shocked that nobody can answer anything to me about the tattoo.
Yeah.
Again, there's 3 initials in that tattoo. Do I believe it was Steve Cullen from Connecticut who did that tattoo?
so now they're talking about the tattoo.
I don't think so anymore, but
This isn't
maybe
where
I have
I'm
to go
at,
back
but-
and relook at that interview. He says it was a
I'm afraid
woman
to-
from the city who was with you.
Hang on, guys. I'm trying to get past that.
Just want to make a
It's
quick
not-
shout out to Sinead.
Yeah.
Thank you for gifting that membership, Sinead. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Sinead, what would we do without you?
Tell you. Well, I don't know what I'd do without any of my mods.
Yes.
There you go.
What would
I
all
agree
of
with
us
you.
do without our
All right,
mods?
let's continue.
Amen to that.
At this time, we don't have the evidence to go forward on a prosecution about Tatiana's murder at this time. I have been in touch with, and I work very closely with Ray Tierney, the subject district attorney, and we will continue to work together to try to see if we can find evidence to charge him.
Do you family is your belief that Sergeant Dykes is responsible for the death of the little girl, Tatiana?
All the defendant Dykes, not Sergeant Dykes.
Okay.
Yes,
There's
yes,
the anger comes out now.
You believe he killed the baby as well,
I do.
in a very different fashion though. The baby was intact. But you believe that they killed it at the same time roughly?
I believe it would have to have been.
How is he familiar with one of the area and
Okay, let's break that apart if we can. The baby.
Well, even before we get into the baby, let's talk about the comments that she makes about the district Ray Tierney.
Yes, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Yeah, let's start off with that. I think she's kind of like, you can see she's even struggling to come up with the word. Like, oh, I've been in contact with him and we're going to see if we can, find evidence. Like, what? Yeah, find evidence. Listen, there is a reason why Suffolk County was conspicuously absent during the presser about when Peaches and Tatiana, when Tanya and Tatiana were identified.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There was nobody there. It's also telling that there was no other arrest warrant dropped for Tatiana when they dropped the arrest warrant for Andrew Dykes. And even now, it's questionable about how happy I think the district attorney would be. And I had said to you before we got on the show, is like, I think that he was watching this presser, he's probably throwing something against the wall. And this kind of, because there's another part of this later on down the road that
Yes.
we're going to get to that. It's just
Yes.
like,
Yeah.
oh my God, I can't believe she said that.
Yeah, but if they're in such close contact, where is he?
Exactly.
He's not.
Yeah, so you have essentially now in this case, the List case, you have dueling in a way, not publicly yet, but you kind of have dueling district attorneys, because you have Donnelly, who is from Nassau County, and she is, prosecuting Tanya's murder. Tatiana, the baby, was found in Suffolk County. So Reed Tierney, who's the DA over there, they've got their own thing going on. They have jurisdiction over that investigation. So this is where that tunnel vision comes in. Ray Tierney's probably now going, what is she doing? Why is she saying this? And so this is why this case is not going to be cut and dried at all. Because Michael Brown, who is the attorney for Rex Horman, he's now going to be like, look at this.
Right.
Raises doubt.
Thought that, Peaches was attributed to my client. Well, not now. And if they're wrong about, Tanya and Tatiana, could they be wrong about the original Gilgo 4?
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
So that's where the early focusing too hard in one area, it is not good for justice and truth. Maybe good for wallets or clout or careers, but if you're more interested in the truth and actually seeing justice done, it's not good for it. So yeah. All right. I wish I could just flip back and forth between screens to where I want to go. But it's not going to let me do that. So, but oh, I may have just discovered something. I did. Okay, so let me go on from here. That was our last question. And again, it's the whole domino effect. Evidence gets filtered, leads are abandoned, narrative is defended. They're going to defend that to the hilt. Like you were talking about 1-1, they lock in. Talking about alternate suspects doesn't help their case, doesn't help their career. But so then, have you seen cases where the evidence didn't fit the final narrative? Now, I'm sure that we all have. I mean, this is kind of like really a rhetorical question. What, for you guys here on the panel, we'll start, go Dago. What is one of the more famous ones that you saw where the evidence didn't fit the final narrative? Does anything come to mind for you?
The Delphi case right out of the gate.
Okay. Yep.
Absolutely not at all, even close. You know what I mean? And it was read that way through the whole case. So,
well, Charlie Kirk, Idaho 4.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, where do we end?
The evidence in those two cases.
Right. Yeah. Kurt Cobain. Yeah.
Kurt Cobain. Yeah, I discovered that one a couple months back, and I'm even more positive now that it was not what they gave.
Dago, we got to dig into that, man.
Absolutely.
Because I followed that case pretty closely. I was a big Kurt Cobain fan.
Yeah.
Same here.
And
right.
I watched all the documentaries. I watched every video you can on that one, and I would tell people, I'm telling you guys.
And as far as I know too, the info that I got is that Kurt Cobain pretty much wrote most of so Courtney Love, she came out, whatever the name of the album is, her group was called Hole, but her first album that came out after Kurt Cobain died, whether she's connected to him, but he wrote most of those songs. In my understanding.
He did it all. Yeah. She's absolutely talentless. 100%, and was nobody, was never going to be anybody without him. And she knew that. She knew that.
Yeah.
Okay. 100%.
Yeah.
So I am 1,000,001% absolutely. Folks, you can look at the crime scene itself. Sorry to get off track.
Oh
Bob.
my God, yeah.
When you get me going on this one, it's nonstop. I'll shut up after this. You can
Come
look at
on, let's go off on this,
Yeah,
man. This is
maybe we'll
epic
do a
case.
maybe we'll do a special Sunday next week on
Yeah,
Kurt
we could
Cobain.
we could do that next Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah, you can look at the crime scene and look at the way the weapon is laying there. No, there's no doubt in my mind. It's not possible. It's not possible.
Well,
so,
and then you have Cyril Weck. I mean, he said, you can't have that that volume of drugs in your system and still
no way.
operate
No way
the weapon. I mean, and everything else. I mean, it's not possible.
For what he had, and he couldn't have been injecting himself the way that happened.
No.
And in turn, if he did, there's no way he'd have pulled the trigger. Period. Just
no.
the end of the story. So yeah.
Well, that documentary Soaked in Bleach is the one where the
private investigator. Yeah, I saw that.
Yep.
That one documentary alone has enough information.
Oh yeah.
Because what a lot of the public didn't know, now they do, but I mean at the time, right? Because I'm Gen X, that was the 90s, like what they didn't know is that he had talked to a family friend who was an attorney that he wanted to leave her.
Yes.
He was going to leave her.
He was about to do it.
And, he's a cash cow, and
he wouldn't go any without him, Joe.
And that if you guys in the den have not watched Soaked in Bleach, there are other ones too. There's a bunch of other ones, but that's the one. Now, the documentary itself, it's got some cheesy stuff. They do some like dramatizations and stuff, which I'm not the biggest fan of. But the core evidence of that documentary is based on the private investigator that Courtney Love hired. Started recording their conversations because she was acting so suspicious that he was literally recording their phone calls.
Yeah, he was working for her, and he immediately suspected her of bullshit and said, "Wait a minute, hold on a second," and was investigating her right along with the other side of it. So, yeah, it's wild.
Crazy shit.
Go check out my show if you want to. Here, I can't remember exactly. It was about a month or so ago we did it, but it was pretty eye-opening. The research I did on top of what I already knew, and Joe's right. Soaked in Bleach is an amazing documentary, and there's two other ones I can't think of what they're called right now. Yeah,
okay,
it's great. It is great, and if, like one said, if you guys want to do that one of these Sundays, I'm down for that one for sure.
That's a compelling, riveting case.
Yeah.
What's it called? Soaked in what?
Soaked in Bleach.
Soaked in Bleach. Okay.
Yeah, I'm telling you, everybody in here, if you were ever a Nirvana fan, a Kurt Cobain fan, or just a Gen X like the rest of us that was into a musician or any of the grunge or any of that stuff, folks, I'm telling you, the man did not take his own life. Period.
No. So.
This could get juicy, man.
Absolutely.
Okay, so then, of course, why presumption of innocence matters. I think we know. I mean, it protects the integrity of the case. It guards against bias, which we see all the time, though. How do you really guard against the bias? I mean, because it all has to start with the investigation and the prosecution, and it's the whole thing. It gets locked in, and it starts with the humans that are doing this, but making sure to safeguard that presumption of innocence will also help keep to the actual evidence and not just rely on speculation and narrative and let those outside forces into the case that really, don't belong there. And with, the List case, with, Brian Koberger's case, you know, you have, you're supposed to have that presumption of innocence, but from what we're seeing, uh, it's not really happening, and it's not really happening in this case because they keep trying to pin. Now, granted, I think Rex did at least murder those, the four original Dago victims. At least. Do I believe that he, uh, is responsible for more? Sure. But at this point, we have questions now as to who murdered Tanya and Tatiana
Right.
because of these early assumptions about the guilt. So, do you think presumption of innocence is respected today?
No.
Not even close.
No way.
Yeah.
Not even close. Very
Yeah.
sadly, but no.
It is. It is very sad. And
The media is a big component of that, not just because of the obvious, like what they
Right.
what they push, but the powers that be, if they're trying to steer something in a certain direction, they're using the media, right? So they're using the media
Mhm.
as a tool to
Yeah.
push their narratives. So it works
Right.
both ways, because if the media actually did some investigative journalism, it wouldn't be so easy for the powers that be to force these narratives onto people and convict people in the media. So it's like a two-way
Right.
push and pull. If
Yeah.
the media actually did investigative journalism and tried to seek out the truth, it wouldn't feed this kind of shit, because
Right.
now the powers that be can get away with it because they've got their their puppets in the media that are going to push what they want them to push and not do the real work. And they're never that's why the power structure, period, power structure in general, is never held to account.
Right.
Never.
And this statement right here is a big part of it. It all goes back to the money. The
Every time.
media companies, they want to make money just like everybody else. And if these powerful entities are going to pay them to, put out a certain story, and one of the greatest examples of that is, we were talking about the other night, Lee was saying, about how people doing the most mundane things, the media now turns that into guilt. You went to Costco. Oh my God, it's chilling. You went to Costco and you tried to buy coffee. You didn't even have a card. And I mean, it it's just ridiculous.
I mean, this is like a very a very psychological thread, because humans, right, tend to, I've talked about it many times. Cognitive dissonance is something that
Mhm.
we all have. It's a defense mechanism. And
Right.
if a story, let's just say, I'll make something up. Let's say um, a police, officer or a detective or somebody in a position of authority, a politician, commits a heinous crime, right? And then you find out after investigating it, oh, holy shit, that's actually happening more. And there are many examples of it. That creates cognitive dissonance for people.
Mhm.
It doesn't mean you're not smart. It's what the human mind does, because you want to believe
Right.
that there are people in power that they actually are looking out for your best interest or
Right.
protecting you. And so what
Mhm.
happens is that shuts down people's critical thinking
Sure.
oftentimes. And so when people say things like, "Oh, look at this guy, look at him going to Costco," that that gives the narrative that they've been told. They will project their ideas about that person onto that action that they're doing, even if it's a
Right.
nothing burger. They will
Right.
project something onto that. Like, oh man, look at him. Look how calm he is walking through Costco. And it's all a psychological mechanism because people need to have things that support their view of themselves and of the world.
Yeah. Now, the last thing I want to play here is she's now talking, and this is this statement just kind of astounds me, and I'm not going to introduce it really. I just want to kind of like get your reactions to what she says here. It's pretty incredible.
Gilgo Beach can be described as a dumping ground. There are a number of bodies that are not connected to the Gilgo Beach killer. It's a wasteland out there. It's probably a good place to drop a body occasionally.
I have a question for Commissioner Ryder as well.
Yes.
This is a man.
Well, I could say
Is that true? One, is it a wasteland
well,
out there?
Well, he's not here, but myself and Lee, yeah, we dropped a body or two out there. So.
Yep. You guys were investigating that.
Yeah, we heard Lee talking about that. You ain't lying.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, and then I have to.
I heard a statement made before about that. If all the bodies that are out there buried were to stand up at one time, there'd be one hell of a population issue out there. So
yeah. So let me go to.
While you're pulling that up, I did get I believe those 3 documentaries you're talking about with Kurt Cobain.
Mm-hmm.
It could be, I'm sure there's more, but just like doing a quick search, I got the BBC documentary, The Last 48 Hours of Kurt Cobain.
Yep.
Benjamin Statler's docudrama, which we were talking about, which is Soaked in Bleach. Yep. And then there's supposedly one, it says the masterful 1998 British documentary called Kurt and Courtney.
Kurt and Courtney. Yeah. That's a big one too. That was a great one. I actually used all 3 of those. So yeah.
Yeah, I watched them all. I was a huge Kurt Cobain fan, so I followed that, and I watched countless, YouTube videos as well about that whole crazy shit.
Right. Yeah.
I think I've covered that case as far as famous people go, and I also covered the Brittany Murphy situation. If anybody's familiar with that one too, yeah. I went back and covered that as well. So sorry, Robin, go ahead.
No, that's okay. I'm just going to play. This is the last thing I'm going to play from these 2, but this is their reactions to what she just said.
Throw something at the wall at this point, because now she is just saying what Tom Spoda was saying years ago.
No, I know that's what I thank you for voicing what I was thinking in the back of my head. I'm getting Spoda vibes all over the place.
Yeah, I mean Spoda, and then for those that don't know, Thomas Spoda was the Suffolk County DA many years ago before he went to federal prison, and because of James Burke, that's a whole other show. But he and then Commissioner Richard Dormer had an argument in public about how many killers there were in regards to the victims out there. And I'll tell you, it was bad back then. And we had said, because Josh and I have been talking about this case for years, but we had said that this was going to eventually come back and haunt them. And I think that statement right there, if you don't think that Michael Brown is going to be on top of that as one of his opening lines about, you're tying this guy up to all these cases, and here we have somebody right in the middle of it. And actually, not only in the middle, in the beginning of it and at the end of it. Oh, boy.
So, if I can, number 1, the first question says, isn't it coincidental that her body was found, of where her body was found?
Yeah, she doesn't answer it.
She doesn't answer it. She says, in Hempstead Park. Not answering the fact, knowing full well what the question is about. Not answering about the fact that, for those of you who may not know, Tatiana was found in Hempstead Park. Her torso was found in a Rubbermaid container in Hempstead Park, and her other extremities were found on Gilgo Beach in front of Jones Beach, which I'm going to show you a little bit later. But she specifically doesn't mention Ocean Parkway and instead pulls the conversation back to Hempstead Park.
Yes.
She knows what the question is. Then when hat tip Mary Murphy asks, well, there's people out there who are having trouble accepting this, knowing how close Tatiana, the baby, was to Valerie Mack. For those of you who know, 211 feet, right? So how can that be? And she says,
Right.
It's a wasteland, it's a dumping ground, and a good place to dump bodies. And does she say, correct me, does she say multiple people have dumped there?
Yeah, she basically said that would be a great place to drop a body. When I heard that on the day of the press or whatever, I just said, "Oh boy, this is gonna be bad."
She opens up avenues for Rex's attorney to basically chip away at Ray Tierney's case by suggesting that there are numerous killers dumping body parts on Ocean Parkway.
Absolutely. And he's got.
So you have these dueling, because I can just imagine what Ray Tierney was saying in his office whenever he would have watched this. I mean, I'd be furious. So I just thought that was some interesting context regarding the Long Island serial killer case, because now you have these dueling, essentially, district attorneys, and it goes to show that when you get that tunnel vision, bad things can happen, and justice is not going to be served. So that's
They're all a bunch of talking heads, man.
Yeah.
I'm so sick of this shit.
Right.
I'm so sick of hearing all these talking heads. They do their press conferences. They talk out of their asses. I mean, I'm so fucking sick of it.
Yeah. It's so, well, that's not the slide I wanted. Hang on. And this is going to be the last poll question, because it's starting to get late here. But who should be challenging investigations the most? Is it the courts? Is it the media? Is it the public? Is it the defense?
Media and the
do you think would
public,
be the
in my
most
opinion.
effective?
I
That's
think
what
the
think.
media and the public, in my opinion, because
The
you
media
know,
should, yeah. I mean, we need investigative journalism, but unfortunately, it's like a lost art.
and they're always
doesn't
pissing and
exist.
whining one about these true crime content creators. Well, if you fucks did your job,
right,
then if you don't like us, do your fucking job.
Right. Yep.
Exactly.
Sorry, I get fired up about this.
Well, I don't blame you. Now, I have, just to close out the night with something fun, because this was a little drier, whatever you want to say. Just have something pretty fun to do. We have such talented people in our Discord that create art. We have Amanda B. We have Cat's Mojo, and so we do have a thread in there called channel called Den Art. So if you are an artist and you like to do that kind of thing, and so we're just going to have just a little art show here to kind of showcase some of the funny stuff that has been put in the den. And you guys can see that?
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
We can see
Okay,
it.
yeah. So this was from Amanda B. This is one of she does a lot of the, like cute stuff. as well as more serious type stuff. But of course, Lee is a Seahawks fan, so she made that for him.
Tandy's gonna love that one.
Yeah, yeah.
Seahawks. That's my one moderator. Seahawks. Fan. She's gonna love that one.
Yep.
I love this.
Oh, that's awesome.
I love this. You have to explain. You got to explain it though.
That's great.
Well, you go ahead. You go ahead if you know the story behind this one. I don't know the story behind all of them, but this is hysterical.
So this is for one of our fabulous great mods, Penny.
Yep.
So
Pennywise,
I just started calling her Pennywise, and obviously Pennywise is the main antagonist of it, you know. And there he is. There's Pennywise the clown. So
Nice.
My favorite author of all time, Stephen King.
Yeah.
Yes, Stephen King. Yes.
Oh
we're
no.
going to be designing. Yep.
Oh, I love that. That's great.
More stuff. So this was a design that Amanda came up with, based off of the trip that Joe and
Read
Lee
the chat.
to Moscow. we were doing a bunch of research and putting it in the chat when they were going by SEI and
I
or
see.
SEL
Yeah.
and all that, and we're yelling, read the chat, Joe, read the chat. We're putting all kinds of info in the chat, and so that was one design she's came up with.
That is
Well
great.
done, Amanda B.
Yep.
Yes, Amanda's super talented.
Here's
guys.
another
Great.
one. This is a really cool design. So we're not sure these aren't finalized necessarily, but these are some concepts that this is so cool.
That's
I just absolutely love that.
Yes, absolutely amazing.
Here we go. One for the denizens, as
Denizen.
we're called. Our chat over here is called.
And now you got to make one, Amanda, that says devil balls.
Oh yeah.
Oh well. Yep. Now you didn't know that the devil.
That's my favorite pie.
Some pecan pie. That was at Thanksgiving,
That's
because
awesome.
what you were talking about. You didn't like pumpkin pie or something like that. One, and so you wanted pecan pie or something.
Yeah,
like
pecan
that.
pie is my favorite. Yeah.
Mine
Yeah.
too. Mine too.
Yep.
Nice.
That's what Lee calls the mods and other people who help behind the scenes, kind of the minions.
Devil's minions. That's great.
Yep. Here's some more. Now, this one here on the left, this is one that she made because of how Lee and Bertie, they have their Monday shows. Speaking of that, Lee will be on Bertie tomorrow night. It's 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So and who knows what the hell is going to happen there, because when those two get together, look out. You never know. But the Hive here ties into, of course, the Hive over there on Birdie's channel, and then
and we
she comes up with some really cool stuff. And then we
did promise Lee, so make sure we don't forget and we mention Lee does have a very nice, I haven't seen it, but I'm sure it'll be great. He has a special video coming out tomorrow morning, Pacific, 8 a.m. Pacific time. It's going to focus primarily on issues with the Banfield stop and Tisdale and Rosie and some stuff with the officers and whatnot. So it should be really good.
It's going to be awesome. So make sure you tune in for that.
Why does
this was actually done by Cat's Mojo.
That's great.
I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think so.
Liam and Bertie. Yeah.
It reminds me of a father and son
Cat's
photo.
Mojo. We have talented people. we sure do. So yeah.
I see a man his comment. 1-1 wanted a damn pecan pie.
This one just cracks me the hell up. like no end. The whole cockswagger thing that Lee came
That
up
is
with.
hilarious.
That's great. Cockswagger.
That is great.
Yep. So Amanda went to work and right away, it's you never know what's going to inspire this kind of stuff, from the live streams or member videos and stuff like that. This was another one because people always tease Lee that he has these big old mugs it's usually not just coffee. Well, not usually, but a lot of times it's not always just straight coffee. So
Yeah, some special sauce.
Oh, special coffee.
special sauce. That's right.
Special sauce.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Oh,
These
wow.
are also from Cat's Mojo, I believe. We have Lee stealing
that's
the
awesome.
e-bike in New York,
Yes.
and Lee is a bobblehead
Love it.
with his big old coffee mug.
What does he say? That's not coffee, bitch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
There's
hell,
the devil's balls.
the devil's balls.
Nice.
That's great.
This one is another one that just cracks me the hell up.
There we go. There's JJ.
Shouldn't have called me a bastard. Oh, Lord.
Yeah, me
I
and
love how
DA.
you're running along with your microphone, JJ.
That's funny.
That is awesome. That's funny as hell
Oh, my
because you know
God.
who that looks like in the behind him chasing him, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly who
That's
Lee
what I
was
figured.
talking about. He's like, shit, we're going there, man.
Yep.
Yep. There they are again. Suspect
I love it.
vehicle.
Suspect vehicle too.
That is I love that. That's awesome.
That's hilarious.
Should have put fog lights on there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the clip-on fog light.
Clip-on fucking fog light too.
Well, we gotta get once
make 'em.
once DA finally releases a video of him pulling into the Moscow
Oh, my
PD parking
God.
lot, we can get some really good content out of that.
Take that, Pennywise.
That's a good one.
Fucking clip-on fog lights. I
This
swear.
was one of Lee's most hysterical quotes.
Nice.
This is why we're not kid friendly.
Not even close. Jesus, I can only imagine if we put Molly and Amanda together and just let them go together.
Oh my God. And this is just cracks me up.
Yeah, that is absolute. I love that one.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, so that's our little den art show for everyone to end the night on a fun note. Because we always need that comic relief because of the stuff that we deal with can be pretty dark, and so I thought everyone would enjoy that. So
definitely,
yeah, it was great.
Well, thanks so much for those who hung out with us. I know that typically, if it's not Idaho 4, we the numbers are not always as high, but so hopefully you enjoyed it. Thanks for on both sides, both families for coming out and hanging out with us while we discuss some of this stuff. And so we'll go around the horn and last thoughts of the night. 1-1.
Yeah, thanks everyone for coming out. Thanks again, Dago, to your family and your meatballs. Obviously, it's always great to see JJ and get his feelings on stuff. Appreciate it, and I'm telling you, I cannot wait till his videos start coming out. He's got some special topics. He has some inside info, or he's done a lot of research. I can't wait.
I'm very much anticipating it.
Right.
Too.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely, bro. Absolutely.
And excellent job tonight, Robin. Great great info,
Yeah.
and the show was great.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. Dago?
Well, first and foremost, I want to reiterate what he said. This was great talking content tonight. Very, very enthralling the whole time. I very much enjoyed it. I appreciate you putting this together like this. As always, I want to thank you for having me. I want to thank my Blue crew for being here, and the rest of the True Crime Cafe community for being here as well. At some point, I think we're all going to be intertwined enough that where we don't have to say that as much, but I still do appreciate each and every one of you, and I appreciate the Devil's Advocates community for having us here again. As always, very much appreciated. I think we're all very we all feel very welcome and very at home here, truly. And thank you again, Robin, for all of you actually for allowing us to play Molly's new intro that she put together for all of us for the Infernal.
That was excellent. Excellent.
Love it.
Yes.
Just love that.
That was dope.
Thank you, Molly.
You did a great job with that. I'm very proud
Big
of her.
ups.
Always. Molly's amazing. So again, and Amanda and all the other amazing artists in there, guys, great work as always. I'm super excited to be part of this community and this family now. So thank you all very much for accepting us the way you guys have.
Here, here.
Okay.
And I just wanted to say thank you to you guys. I'm glad I was able to make it on tonight. I had a really good time.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's really fun exchanging ideas. Like that's really, I think, the most important thing. And Robin, you did an awesome job. 1-1, you're the fucking man. Dago, you're the fucking Mac Daddy, man. And big ups to all the True Crime Cafe people,
Thank
man.
you, brother.
I'm gonna watch that video that you did about Kurt Cobain. I didn't know that you did that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, we're
Because
gonna.
I'm actually excited that you dug into that because I was all over that when that and Chris Cornell too. But we can put that aside. But I want to thank everybody and the den, and I'm really glad I was able to make it tonight. And thank you guys for your support. I appreciate it.
Always.
Yeah, excited to see
Yeah.
it.
Thanks,
And
guys.
I'm kind of excited, you guys, that Joe brought that up again. That Robin, if you're interested in doing that on a Sunday night, jumping into the Cobain thing, I'm all game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk about it. Well, I think it would fit. It definitely would fit, like a Sunday night to have something a little sometimes we need sometimes we need a little something different than outside of Idaho 4. Not that Idaho 4 is not important. It is.
But sometimes it's nice to kind of cleanse the palate a little bit, so to speak, and that's what tonight was kind of about, with pulling in a lot of the stuff from the list case and stuff, because that's going to ramp up soon, people. Let me tell you. I mean, they're potentially looking at April-ish to potentially start the trial. So, and who knows what the hell is going to happen between now and then with, Tanya and Tatiana's case now, their cases. So, but gentlemen, thank you guys for, just being the amazing people you are. Thank you to your crew, Dago, to the Blue crew, to the True Crime Cafe guys over there, the family over there. We feel you are a part of us now as well. And to all the denizens here, our mods, this has just been wonderful. And I can't thank all you guys enough. And I hope everyone has a wonderful Sunday and a great start to your week. And remember, tomorrow Lee's video will be coming out 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time and 11 a.m. Eastern Time. That's going to be, an amazing video. So don't miss it. So.
Can I say one last thing, Robin?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I forgot to mention it, but a thank you to Cat Farm for the kick-ass, songs, and Cat's Mojo and Penny and Amanda B and Molly, and thank you guys for including me in that stuff. It's fun to see it. I really appreciate it.
Yes.
And thanks, Milo, for making me look so hot.
Yeah, I can't wait for tomorrow night. I will be live tomorrow too, guys, in some time. I can't give you a time, but I'm probably going to be following the Tepes case out of Columbus, Ohio. If you're interested,
okay,
come over and say hi. We'd love to see you there.
Yeah, I was just going to say, what, you don't know what time yet?
Not 100%. It depends on what's going on here behind me.
Ah.
So, you know.
Okay. All right. Well, good. Yeah. I have my notifications on for you, so I'm always looking to see when Dago's going live, man. So yeah. So if I can, I'll definitely be popping on in.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. You guys have a great night. Take care, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.